Hump Day, everyone. It is the Plant-Based Morning Show, sponsored / presented by Compliment, who is behind every show that we do. They're the reason this Plant-Based Morning Show exists. Anyway, it's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. I used to be on an anti-Hump Day kick, thinking that by avoiding that phrase, I could avoid, the working for the weekend mindset. But I'm just kind of embracing it. I'm just saying 3-day weekends are good. 4-day weeks are also good. And Wednesday is Hump Day. There's Doug. He's coming in with some sort of amorphous dance. Oh, wait. What's this?
Oh, this was.
Sorry.
I was rocking out to some Miley Cyrus, her new song "Flowers." The chorus is a banger, man. I can love me better than you can. After yesterday's bashing of my intros, right. I'm just feeling a little self-empowerment moment right now. I just need to love myself better than you can. That's the truth. I can always love myself better than you can. So.
Okay, good. Well, I re-listened to that bashing when I was putting together the podcast, and I stand by it. I still think it was the right thing to do. So I'm glad that you're okay with it as well. Is Miley? I don't sense that Miley's on the same level as Taylor Swift as far as music, her music being appreciated as art. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, maybe. I think you might be a little wrong. I mean, I think Taylor Swift's probably the biggest music superstar in the world, but Miley's up there, man. This song is good. I gotta say.
Okay.
I'm not a huge Miley fan, but this song is great.
Well, I would have lumped them in the same category a couple months ago, but then when Taylor's album dropped and she put all those hits on the top 10 or whatever chart that was, and the way people on this show started to rave about her in general, I started thinking maybe she's an artist's artist. And I think she still writes the songs. Miley just seems to me like now what I thought Taylor was, kind of product of the system industry. They just picked her and now they're just sort of elevating her.
Well, I think she did. I think didn't they all come from Disney and stuff? I know Miley came from Disney, of course.
Yeah, and Miley's dad was a country star.
But no, I mean she's talented, man. She's got some chops.
Okay.
Know what they say?
All right. Yeah, I think so. Used to say that anyway. I don't know. Anyway,
and of course, Miley used to be vegan. Not anymore, though.
Oh, did she? That's right. Yes, she was, of course, our first celebrity vegan person. All right, we've got someone who has to join us here. I'm not going to do that one yet, just because we've got another guest planned for today. If Mr. Jeffrey is still planning to do that. Taylor did not come from Disney, says Mr. Jeffrey.
Ah, okay.
I thought she was lumped in with the Justin Timberlake gang. Wasn't he in Disney with? Maybe that was Britney Spears.
No, Britney Spears. But that was Britney and Christina Aguilera, right? She was Disney.
I think I just lumped together 20-year apart eras of music. To me, they're just all these kids putting out this music nowadays.
No, I think Miley's probably our age.
SJ Cookie says, "Isn't Taylor from American Idol?" I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Not as far as I know. I think she was just a country star, and then she made the leap, made the transition. All right.
See, this is why I come in dancing, man, because it sparks conversation. This is 2 days in a row.
Because this one you had an actual song with it. There was something I can categorize it in my mind and say that's what Doug did today, instead of just a random movement. All right. So anyway, I mentioned Mr. Jeffrey might join us. He's sent me some 7-Eleven pictures in our Plant-Based Morning Show account inbox, which you too could message if you wanted. You could follow that channel. Anyone listening here and send us messages. People do all the time. We talk, we converse. They send us good things. So anyway, Jeff sent us all kinds of delicious looking things from 7-Eleven. Ben and Jerry's vegan thing, a Cadbury plant. I don't want to spoil it all. I'll let him come on and say. So anyway, Mr. Jeffrey, if you want to join us, let's do it in a few minutes before we jump into stuff. But I think it'd be great. Anyway, Doug, anything else interesting today or newsworthy before we jump into some of the show content with you?
I had some fantastic enchiladas last night.
Okay, good.
Homemade enchiladas from the Oshiglo's cookbook. Love those things. They're one of the most satisfying meals that I have.
Mm-hmm. And you
and fairly easy.
Enchilada sauce is like its own thing, right? Like you get a
Yeah,
canned
we get store
enchilada
bought
sauce.
enchilada. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sure you can make it, and I'm sure purists would make it, but I think even the recipe calls for store bought enchilada
That's the
sauce,
only
and
way
then
I've
you do
ever
like
done.
then you make a like an avocado cream sauce to go on top and all this stuff. But it's very, very good. Love it.
That sounds pretty good. And so you would soak the tortillas in the stuff and then roll it up around
Yeah,
some
you
beans
make
or
the
rice or
filling.
mixture.
This is like sweet potatoes and black beans and peppers, and then you put some of the sauce in with that, onions, and then you fill up the tortillas, and then you soak the sauce on top as well. And so it's on the inside with the goodies and also on the outside.
Very nice. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. All right, I don't have any good dinner to report. I had a Bonza pizza last night, sort of last minute kind of thing, with a romaine lettuce salad. I added that back into my routine, the late night romaine lettuce salad, because I just sensed that the pills, the extract I've been using, I don't have the same. It doesn't have the same like soporific effect that the lettuce itself did. I don't feel all drowsy, and I really think when I eat the actual lettuce that I feel that way. I don't know for sure, but anyway, I had that pretty late. And I'm not going to tell you how I sleep because we'll save that for later.
Did you so the Bonza pizza, is that the crust and you made the pizza on top, or is it a frozen full
that's like that is our very low effort meal. Yeah, you buy the Bonza crust and then put jarred pizza sauce on it and then sprinkle our Parmesan sprinkle cheese on there. Which as much as that sounds like a convenience food packaged meal, like I can't think of anything bad about it. I mean, it's just good stuff. So
yeah.
Add a little salad, and I'm pretty happy with that one.
Any toppings, or are you just doing sauce and Bonza crust?
No, well, we chopped a little bit of that basil that come from the garage, the miracle thing in the garage that somehow keeps producing basil. Someone's watering it. We don't know how it's happening. And a little bit of Calabrian hot peppers that I have from Amazon that just make everything good. Had that, a nice alcohol-free Guinness. Oh, you know what I had?
Nice.
I should have reported this earlier. When I was down in Florida, I was staying at my mom's house, and she introduced me to Heineken 0.0, which we talked about when we had Robbie from Plant Based News on. We were talking about their non-alcoholic beer article that they had up, and I'm pretty sure Heineken was in it. And I said, I don't like Heineken. I don't know anybody who likes Heineken anymore. I don't want that one. Well, my mom had it, and it was delicious. Like it tastes nothing like Heineken. It tastes like my favorite lagers from Europe, which for some reason don't taste like that skunky Heineken taste. I loved it. It was great. And those the European ones I'm noticing always or often say 0.0, whereas these American ones always say less than 0.5 when you look closely. So I'm wondering if in Europe to call it a non-alcoholic beer, it actually has to be 0.0. I don't quite know. I'm actually not that concerned about that, difference between 0.0 and less than 0.5. But anyway, the taste, I would highly recommend it. If you want like a little lighter, lawnmower style, but good, go for it.
Hey, that's good advice. It's great. I love a good light beer.
Shocked. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Someone says Lagunitas IPNA is the best non-alcoholic beer. I would not agree with that. It's okay, but to me, it's a little bit lacking in body or something. All right. I'm gonna add Mr. Jeffrey on here. You got anything else before I do that?
Let's do it. No, I want to talk 7-Eleven.
Okay. Here he comes. This is a big moment for the show because Mr. Jeffrey's the number one most called out fan of the show. He's here every day. We always say his name. And there he is. Hey,
is that what you look like? Hey.
Yeah, I thought you were going to have like a cartoon head or something and just be like a cartoon character, Mr. Jeffrey. But no, you're a real person. I'm going to call you Jeff. Well, it's good to have you on. So you went to 7-Eleven. You took a break from your running. Must have been nice to have a day off. And you went to 7-Eleven in Canada. And I don't remember what you were going after. What the sausage patty, was that it? Okay. And okay. And what do? They just put it in a microwave or something? Or do they have an oven? Oh, yeah. All right.
Did it seem like it had been sitting there for 8 days? Oh, wow. Oh, all right. That sounds great.
That
Yeah.
I see that now. Was that from this morning? The picture says January 19th expiration. So that was this very morning you went there. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's the expiration there. Good. All right. So just so people are aware, I'm looking at the picture. Violife cheese, Impossible patty, and Doug's favorite, Just egg, on an English muffin. It's individually wrapped in like a clear thing. You pull it out of the freezer section or the refrigerator section, and they warm it up. Very good. I mean, that's awesome. I wish 7-Eleven would do that. I would probably eat that.
I would.
And then they had a bunch of other stuff. Oh, okay. I hate when they do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I see that. Well, I mean, there are still vegetarians, so I guess we can't forget that, and that's a good thing.
All right, so you get that sandwich. Would you throw ketchup on there or any sort of sauce? What would you put on an English muffin with no sauce?
Enchilada sauce.
Yeah. Hmm.
Tim Hortons. Wow. That's Canadian Starbucks for anyone who doesn't know. Although I know they also have Starbucks there, but okay, right, better. All right, all right, and then I also see you've got some in the pictures you sent. You've got some Snack Affair shiitake mushroom bites, which would fit with Doug's story for the mushrooms food of the year. Yep, and that's like a snack. Those things are pretty good.
I appreciate the effort.
I'm impressed still that 7-Eleven is stocking a dried mushroom snack. That's pretty amazing. And then Noble Jerky vegan jerky vegane or something like that. French, I guess. Ben and Jerry's ice cream, Cadbury plant, which I think we talked about a long time ago. That would be exciting for my kids for sure. Is this like indicative of a typical Canadian convenience store experience? You find all these things, or is this weird to you as well? Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's when anybody goes. Yeah. That is a very real attempt. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I mean, it reminds me of the stores in Europe that just had all these things that you just would not expect to see there. So kind of makes sense. Come to Canada first, and soon enough, hopefully, it will infiltrate the U.S. Jody Shuck asks if it is Cadbury like the eggs. Yes, it is Cadbury like the eggs. And then SJ Cookie says, how have I not heard of the vegan Cadbury and Lindt? Probably because those are only in Canada right now. I don't know if they're in the US anywhere, but I've never seen them. That does seem pretty good.
Wow.
I noticed that the on the Southwestern wrap, this vegetarian thing, the price of it is $7.11. You see that? $7.11. Is that like a little thing they do? They make all their food $7.11. Wait, they put the price. What does it normally cost for a Slurpee? I mean, do they raise the price up to 7-Eleven for this special day?
Are 7-Elevens big in Canada? Like, is that are they everywhere? Okay. Okay. I feel like 7-Elevens aren't as big around, at least not in the South.
Yeah, I think we have that. I mean, we have 7-Elevens they have gas pumps in front of them, and I don't know if it's a partnership or what, but they're definitely. I think the standalone 7-Eleven is kind of going by the wayside. That is, you don't see many of those anymore like you used to.
No.
Who knows why? Anyway, Jeff, give us a quick update on the ultramarathon training. You still planning on doing Mendocino Coast? Okay. Give us the kilometers.
Sweet. That's awesome. That's great, man.
Yeah. Well, please, Jeff, keep us posted on how that's going. Keep all the good comments coming. Anytime you want to go get some food and hop on here and tell us how it is, we'd love to have you on. So. Okay, be the Canadian man. All right, good. And Jeff, your protein is on the way. It is. I've sent it over this morning. It will be arriving. I'm going to need a phone number from you. You can just share that right now with everybody if you'd like, or you can send it in our messages. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Jeff. Figure out how to leave because I still don't know how to boot people out. Thanks.
See you, Jeff. Yeah. All right. Great to have Jeff up on the show. That was good.
It definitely is. All right. We ready to jump into the weather report? Once again, I did not.
Weather report.
Did not get the sound ready or anything like that. You know what? Let's see if I can find it real quick. No, I don't have it right in front of me. So no, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, but weather report. Here we go.
Weather report. Go.
All right. Bill Gates did his annual Reddit AMA. And on the topic of fake meats, he said, I think eventually these products will be very good, even though their share is small today. Apparently that is newsworthy, made it into our weather report. He has backed brands like Beyond Meat, Impossible Foods, and Upside Foods, who we all know recently got FDA approval for something. I think they're cultivated chicken. Bill Gates did say that he was not that optimistic about the likelihood of the general public becoming vegan for the climate. He said, for people who want to go vegan, that's great, but I don't think most people will do that. So not exactly going out on a limb there. I think we tend to agree that that's the case. But good to have billionaires talking about this stuff. The City of Edinburgh Council. This is Scotland, Doug, in case you're not up on European capitals.
I've been there.
Very nice. Okay, good.
Went to a one of those houses that I forget what was that, the dungeon thing we talked about yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Or the
London
week?
Dungeon. Right, London Dungeon. Were they
I guess that probably wouldn't have been. That would have probably been in London and not Edinburgh. Never mind.
Well, they might have them all over the place. I don't know. Anyway, so in doing so, it became. Or I didn't say they endorsed the plant-based treaty, which we've talked about a few times on this show, like when LA joined it, and I think when Hayward's Heath in the UK joined it. I think they might have been the first. I don't know if they were the first city to do it. It was only a few months ago. But anyway, they've become now the first capital in Europe to do so, the 20th city overall to join this thing. Apparently also there's a Didim, I don't know how to say that, in Turkey, and a slew of Indian cities, according to plant-based news. Reminder, the plant-based treaty, I don't know if it actually does anything or not, or if it's just more symbolic, but it's supposed to do something. It's these 3 R's: relinquish, redirect, and restore. Relinquish means no more deforestation for animal rearing purposes. Redirect means a transition from animal-based food production to plant-based systems. And restore means actively restoring ecosystems with trees and landscapes. So who knows how much that stuff is measurable or how much is symbolic, but either way, we'll take it. More Just Egg news, aside from them being in that 7-Eleven wrap that Jeff just reported on, or sausage sandwich. Actually, I've got 2 Just Egg stories today. They're taking a bold, direct message to customers. Apparently, there's an egg thing going on, Doug. Are you aware of this? Like a regular non-plant-based egg problem in the country?
I am an American who is living life right now, and so yes, I am very much aware that there's an egg problem.
Okay,
even as a vegan, I think it's a big deal.
I've been shielded from the egg issue until now, only because of this Just Egg news. Did I realize that there's an avian flu crisis going on that is driving up the egg prices? Just Egg has pounced on this with a little troll. It seems they have they're running digital ads right outside of supermarkets on the Volta charging stations for electric cars, and they put one in the Sunday's New York Times full page ad saying plants don't get the flu, and then going on to say that their stuff is in fact in stock, even though many eggs are not. So they are making some enemies, being polarizing, I guess. But I like it. I like jumping on the news. Newsjacking, they call it, Doug, in the business.
You know what? I don't want to. Yeah. I know we're not supposed to talk too much during the weather report, so I hate to do this, but I think that this was kind of an interesting tidbit about the egg problem. That a lot of people think about like free range chickens or grass fed meat as being superior or like better for animal agriculture. What I learned throughout this egg crisis is that a lot of the flu issues and things like that end up killing massive amounts of farm animals. They're actually, or in this case, the free range chickens are spreading it much quicker than chickens within non-free range. I don't know what you call this, and so like cages. Because they're interacting with each other, and so it's spreading a lot more quickly, and so it just drives home once again that animal agriculture is a problem, no matter how good it's supposed to be.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, very good point. I'm wondering if maybe I was thinking maybe they haven't had the chance to develop the immunity since they have more range. But who knows? That'd be theorizing about something I don't know anything about. More from Good Meat, Doug. So Good Meat is the parent company of. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know if this is the name. This is the division of Eat Just, and Just Egg is their other one. So they've got Just Egg and they've got Good Meat, where they capitalize the first 4 letters or the first word. This is the company, the branch of the company that is doing the cultivated meat thing over in Singapore right now, which is the only place anybody's really doing it because it's the only place it's really allowed. But they have become the first producer worldwide to receive regulatory approval by the Singapore Food Agency for the use of serum-free cell growth media in cultivated products, which may not mean to most people, but if you pay attention to this show, you know that the serum they're talking about is what they actually grow the cultivated meat cells in. And this serum is actually, as far as the ethical issues go surrounding cultivated meat, this serum comes from bovine fetal, fetuses, and they take the serum. So this is the cruelest part, I think, the cruelest part of the process to date. But now, and that serum is also expensive and it's inconsistent quality. So there are also reasons why the industry wants to get away from it. So anyway, Good Meat has gotten approval for a serum-free media, which I don't really know what it's actually made of, but I think it's entirely vegan, or at least lab made. Wow. It's just not taken from fetuses. Yeah, it's really big news. It'll make cultivated meat production more scalable, efficient, and sustainable, and obviously less cruel. So this was considered to be a big limiting step in the production. So it's very good that we are past that. And by the way, Good Meat's cultivated chicken breast. Good Meat is the only brand in the world that's actually able to sell its cultivated meat to consumers right now. So that's happening over in Singapore. You can't imagine it'll be too long until it's happening here. But right now, that's all it is. Finally, quick check-in on the Amazon vegan cooking list. Plant You, our friend Carly, though she hasn't come on the show yet, so I keep calling her our friend, but until she actually comes on here, nobody's going to believe me. So Carly, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, just please hop on here anytime you want. Number 2 is Eat Plants, B*TCH from Pinky Cole. You know, I love these books with the asterisk in the title where they put a curse word and then put an asterisk. It's a recipe for success. Pinky Cole is the founder and I don't know, head chef, I would assume. CEO and founder of Slutty Vegan ATL, and now they're in New York City. But here's the newcomer, Leafy Greens by Mark Bittman. The Kindle edition is number 3. It's $1.99 right now. That's why it's here. This book was published in 2012. It's not new at all. But if you're a deal, searcher, I mentioned, Doug, that the only time I'll ever do cookbooks on the Kindle is when you can get them for $1.99. Like the No Meat Athlete cookbook will be $3.99 later this month. I'm not a huge Mark Bittman fan. I don't know what it is about him. I just feel like he's not one of us. I feel like he's still a meat guy. But I'm sure his greens recipes are good, and we can all eat more greens. So good chance to go grab that for $1.99 while it is that price. Okay, next, Tabitha Brown, number 4. She's been on the list before. So has Blue Zone's American Kitchen. Dan Buettner, number 5. And the new one, though, the Mark Bittman has bumped Healthy Girl Kitchen, which was the newcomer last week, I think. She's been bumped, although she's still got a few months till her book comes out, so she's probably not too worried about that. So there is your weather report. That's all that's going on in the world right now.
All right. Thanks for the update.
You're very welcome, Doug. Jeff says he reminds us all that Carly was on the NMA podcast, so she probably wouldn't mind coming on. Yeah, that's true. But remember, she was not yet the the New York Times bestselling author. Many weeks, I think she's been on the number 1 on Amazon. 5-star, 3,728 5-star average reviews on Amazon. So she's a superstar now.
Wow.
But she is a friend. She actually called Ellery on her birthday. I was very impressed that she did that because Ellery's a big Carly fan. So that was really cool. So I think I sort of cashed in my favorite card by having her call Ellery on her birthday instead of coming on this morning show. So in hindsight, maybe not the best move, but I did it.
Whole Health Experience says that I don't know what I don't see why was in reference to, but she says that Just Egg is expensive to me to have on a daily basis. I agree for sure. I think it is much more expensive than eggs, at least used to be. I don't know what the price of egg is right now, but it would be hard to switch to that if you were doing scrambled eggs every morning. But we do it every weekend pretty much as a little treat to our girls who love it. So.
You're a big Just Egg supporter, no doubt about it. I still haven't really ever had it. I bought it once and I used it in some kind of cooking. I don't know, but I have never just had it. I'm just not an egg eater. I don't know.
Yep. Well.
All right. We're moving on to our feature articles. Speaking of things that I am just not into or just not a participant in, the car industry. I don't know anything about cars. I care less about cars than I do about people's dreams. I don't want to hear about what your car is or how you souped it up or anything. Just like I don't want to hear about your
we should start a car podcast.
We should. Have you ever, Doug, made a modification to your car that wasn't a simple fix, that was actually trying to make the car more valuable or better suited to you?
I have. I have done
What
that.
Is that? What
I
did you
replaced
rims on
my
there?
stereo. In my first car, I replaced my stereo.
Okay.
Because it was an old tape player, and I replaced it with a much nicer CD player.
Oh, okay, nice. 6 CD changer?
I think it had 3. I think it allowed for 3 in there, but
okay.
Yeah,
nice.
It was dope.
Doug making moves. I like it.
I know. I it didn't fit right, so it didn't quite look right. There was a pretty large gap that just went directly into the car,
Nice,
because it wasn't the right size. But it played music.
Well, if you saw my car, if you examined the interior of my car, you would say, this is a person who does not have his life together. He must, live in a rat's nest. I mean, the car is a disaster. I've had ant infestations in my car before where they have their own home in the car because the food gets left in there. The back seat, the kids just destroy it. It's like knee level trash and stuff in the back seat area.
Oh, Matt, come on.
It's just a disaster. And I blame them and I say, come on, guys, get the car clean. And then I just don't take responsibility for it.
You don't still have the same car you used to that we road tripped in, do you?
No, that died. That lasted a long time, but then it eventually died.
Yeah.
That car was much, much cleaner and nicer than this current one. So anyway, the one I have now is a Mazda 3. I bought it used. For a while, I had no car. I enjoyed that a lot because I hate cars. And I had no car, but then I finally decided I needed one once the kids were going to school a little bit and all that. Well, not a little bit. They were going to school. So I decided I should get a car, and I did. I got a used Mazda 3. A bunch of scratches all over one of the doors, but I saved $1,000 that way. I literally do not care what my car looks like at all. So that's the preface here. My car. So the deal is the top 25 vegan-friendly car manufacturers in 2023. This is from Vegconomist, very trustworthy, good publication. Dick Lovett is a car dealership, I guess, that compiled this updated review. I don't really know who Dick Lovett is. Like, it just doesn't sound like it sounds kind of like a prank name, actually, that you would like call the bar and be like, hey, is Dick Lovett there? Like a Bart Simpson kind of move. But I guess it's a reputable thing. It's a UK dealer. And they ranked all the car brands by total number of vegan-friendly car models. Mazda is not on the list at all. So clearly that's not a priority when I'm buying a car to ask if it's vegan friendly. I know I don't have leather seats. I always wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't do it. So I don't know what part of my Mazda is not vegan friendly, but unless
your steering
Mazda
wheel
has one.
Is your steering wheel leather? I think that's pretty common.
Oh, it's possible that it is. I don't know what that material is. I guess I never really thought that it could be real leather, but very likely.
Yeah, right. I was very disappointed.
Okay, what do you drive? I know what you drive. Subaru.
I'm a big Subaru lover, and it's number 17 on this list. So it is on the list of the top 25, but only 6 models are vegan friendly. And that doesn't mean vegan friendly by default. That means that you can get a vegan friendly version. Yeah.
Right.
Because probably they offer leather in pretty much any of these, but
yeah, I'm sure none of these cars has taken a stand against it, except perhaps Tesla. I don't know about that. I think Tesla may have, or at least has been talking about getting rid of the leather option and making it entirely a faux leather. Is that possible? That I saw that headline.
That is possible. That sounds familiar. Tesla's number 19 on the list, but really this ranking is somewhat arbitrary because it's number of vegan-friendly car models, and Tesla doesn't have that many models.
Right.
Subaru, now that I'm saying this out loud, might not have as many models. It certainly doesn't as like Ford. So maybe, that could be a higher percentage of their cars are actually vegan-friendly. But they're lower down on the list.
Yeah, there should be a separate list that is like percentage of models offered that are vegan, and there you have a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, really, this list is kind of silly. Like, basically, all your big ones: Ford, Honda, Mercedes, Nissan, Kia, Chevrolet. I mean, everybody has vegan-friendly models. I guess you just have to be a little bit more careful. I don't think this includes tire, right? Aren't tires part of the problem?
Yeah. So at the bottom of this, there's a quote by Dominica Piaseca, who is the spokesperson for the Vegan Society. And we actually quoted this yesterday, or very similar to the Vegan Society, their definition of vegan, what it meant in this article by that person who was saying being vegan is impossible. Therefore, you should be reducitarian, TM, which is his brand. But the idea there was Vegan Society said being vegan is about, doing as best you can. So here's what Dominica says. The key with veganism is trying to do your best. It's not possible to be 100% vegan in this imperfect world, but we can avoid animal suffering as much as possible. Avoiding leather is a practical thing we can do while buying a car, while we can't, of course, avoid tires or steel. And so Mr. Jeffrey, or now Jeff, I should call him now that he's a person, not a cartoon character, he says sometimes there's animal in things like screens and stuff. It's bizarre, which, yeah, I do believe that.
Screens?
I think, I don't know. I assumed he meant like the digital display, the touch screen sort of thing. I don't know. The way there's glue and shoes and things. I mean, who knows? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how steel doesn't, or how that.
Yeah, I was gonna say is steel not vegan? I'm googling it because I didn't want to sound like a total idiot. But
and what's wrong with tires, right? I mean, are they just? I mean, there's rubber, right, from trees. Who knows? Right? I mean, I'm sure because they're right. They have
many tires are not because they're made with stearic acid, which can be derived from animal products.
Okay. So anyway, the point is none of these are actually vegan cars in the purest sense of the word, sense of the word. But if you're willing to take this do the best you can approach, then I would say not having leather seats and really not having a leather steering wheel like I do apparently. Well, maybe who knows if I do or not. But yeah, you can do some work and make sure you don't get those things. And next time I get this car, I will certainly look for the steering wheel. Make sure I get that non-leather. So anyway, that's
like 80s style with like carpet around
furry
it, like
steering wheel kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that just covers up the leather usually, Doug. I don't think that would replace the leather. Okay, so that's our car story for the year. We're probably not going to do another one. I don't think. Hopefully not.
Until we start our car podcast.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Jeff has informed us that Tesla Model 3 only is vegan by default, but all of them you can ask for non-leather. Polestar 2 is all vegan. Okay, so I don't know what I saw. Maybe it was just that they were going to offer them vegan. Anyway, that is that. That's cars. All right, so let's see, Doug. We've got let's probably save Chipotle for tomorrow. Let's get into the one. Well, here, this is. Yesterday we were going to talk about vegan obstacles and how to overcome them. I still want to talk about that today. So let's quickly go through the Beat article, which is not that one. It's here's what happens to your body when switching to a plant-based diet. I like this one. It's a motivator to switch, which I think people this time of year are still thinking about, and it'll be a nice lead in to the one about obstacles. But let's just hit the bullet points here. I need to call out the Beat here first, Doug. I know we like to jokingly, playfully criticize Veg News sometimes. Just for the stance they take. I don't know. Sometimes we just do that. But they keep producing really high quality content that I always go back to every day, check that one, see what that's kind of my first spot that I check after I just generally Google things. Because their content is high quality and good, and that's a sign of good quality content. You can criticize it. The Beat, I'm just checking less and less these days because this site is a disaster, covered in ads, and every article is riddled with typos. And the typos kill me. They make me feel like I can't really trust it, or that it's, if they couldn't get the typos out of there, and not just like a few, but like a lot, like throughout the article, then it just makes me question the quality in general. I get that there's going to be a few that slip through here and there. We can't be perfect. But I feel like the Beat has got to up their game if they're serious about this, because I rarely check it anymore for that reason.
Wow, those are some fighting words.
I'm not trying to fight. I like them. I don't really know the people at the top of it. I know people who partner with them though, and I like them. I hope it does well. But I just feel like someone's got to say it. You can't have this many typos. The format, you got to get the formatting consistent and good, the right amount of spaces around things. You just have to. If you're in the text journalism business, you have to package it nicely.
I see. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
What, you already found typos?
I already found a typo. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to read far. They're everywhere. And this isn't on the individual writers, because I don't expect the writers to have no typos. It's the process that they need to make better so that things get read by more people. Anyway, so that's our quick aside on the Beat in general.
That's our beef with Beat.
There you go. Very nice. Okay, so this article, despite all that, I like the article. It's a timeline of the physical benefits you get when you go plant-based. And I should add, I don't think this is exclusive to plant-based. Like if you switch from a standard American diet, or just a general bad diet, even probably a keto or meaty diet, to one that is Mediterranean, for lack of a better word here, one that's mostly plant-based, maybe involves some meat, you're still going to get these results. If you switch to real, natural, whole foods, and it's not a ton of meat, I think you're going to see most of these results. So here's the timeline, which is interesting. 1 hour results. Diabetes symptoms will be easier to manage. And that just generally comes from more fiber, less spikes and things like that going on. Your body can process things at the rate it's probably meant to. 2 to 3 days in, you'll start going to the bathroom more regularly, which I guess they call that a physical benefit. I read that more like if you say you go, like you start out by going to the bathroom regularly and then you go even more regularly, it would sound like you're going often.
Too much.
Yeah. But I think they just mean regular, like you get in a rhythm.
It regulates your number twos.
Yeah, right. Okay, so it gets regulated, not necessarily more frequently, just regulated. That happens in 2 to 3 days. Pretty good benefit if you're dealing with problems in that department, for sure.
Yeah.
1 week in, your cholesterol and blood pressure will stabilize. Again, like stabilizing is one thing. but the whole blurb here is about decreasing, and that's what we really want. I don't think we want stability of our cholesterol if it's at an elevated level. We want it to go down. So they get closer to the optimal levels, it sounds like. 10 days in, your blood pressure may drop. So that's a good thing. Now, they said 1 week in it will stabilize. So I guess they did mean stabilize in that case. I'm not sure. But this is good. This is still good. I'm tracking with you here, and I'm thinking this diet might be for me. 2 weeks in, you'll get slimmer, especially if you avoid sugar. I like that. The PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, definitely a vegan, sciencey organization, but you have to take their stuff with a grain of salt. But I still like it. According to them, average weight loss after switching to a whole food plant-based diet is about 1 pound a week, which may not sound a lot. I know it's not going to attract the diet crazed people who say, I want to lose, 5 pounds in a week. But, imagine you stay on it for 6 months. That's 26 pounds, and keep going. If it's sustainable, then you can actually, that stuff will accumulate at a healthy pace. So you get weight loss. 3 weeks in, chest pain will diminish and your taste buds will change. I think that's assuming that you have some chest pain to begin with, and that is, according to the author here, the result of serious heart disease. So the fact that your chest pain is diminishing is really just an indicator of something much more important, that you're helping with this serious heart disease. And then 3 to 4 weeks, feel more energized. That one, honestly, when I went vegetarian, I swear I felt more energized in the first week. Like I just immediately felt it, and that's part of the reason it lasted for me. Don't know, who knows why. 1 month in, clearer skin and better heart health. So we mentioned heart health already, but I guess the first indicator is the less pain. Clear skin, that's like one of those things that it seems to me almost like anecdotal. You just always hear people say that they had all these things clear up, and I don't know, I don't know if there have been studies on it or not, but you hear it a lot. So glad to hear that others do. 6 weeks or sooner, your sex life will improve. They're talking about the game changers here and the famous scene with the nocturnal erections study they did. Within 1 year, better blood circulation, which is that. I think that's a lot same as the sex life thing. That's a blood circulation issue largely. But anyway, this is fantastic, right? Like people, when we switch to diets, you don't expect these results to happen so quickly. So I know these aren't the most visible results always to everybody, but because everyone's just looking at weight loss. But nearly miraculous how good eating healthy can do compared to eating unhealthy.
Dare I say too miraculous?
Yeah,
I don't like this article.
You suspect foul play or something?
No, I think we're overemphasizing the benefits here. I'm sure that this stuff happens if you're really in bad health, or you're eating a super clean diet, like you said. Yeah. But I think that just by going vegan, you're not everyone is going to see all this stuff. And while I like the premise of it, like an outline of like where these benefits will start happening, I think it's a cool idea. I think it overemphasizes some of these benefits that some people will just want to experience at first. Like not everybody's going to lose weight in the first 2 weeks. Not everyone is going to have clearer skin magically. And the way it's written here makes it sound like that stuff will just happen and vanish and go away, and you'll be better off. It's guaranteed to happen, and that makes me uncomfortable. That just doesn't sit super well with me. And it doesn't talk about any of the like potential negative side effects of being hungry if if you're not managing your calories properly, or losing energy. Some people report that they lose energy because they're not eating enough. And I don't know. I like the premise of the article. I do not like the execution.
Okay, fair enough. I will remind you that they are a vegan site. They're in the business to promote the vegan diet. They're not going to talk about the bad parts of it. But you're right. Acknowledging some things like that sometimes can make stuff more believable, for sure. They do at the beginning say there's no right way to start a plant-based diet. Some people cut out dairy first, then meat. Others go meatless on Mondays or a single day of the week. So they do mention that like you can do it more gradually rather than going right at it. They say if you go right at it, the more plant-based you go, the more health benefits you will experience. But I do think, in suggesting some more gradual ways, you would limit some of those downsides that you're talking about, Doug. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think you're right. I do think they are talking here to, a standard American dieter who has been eating that way for 50 years, and they are very unhealthy as a result. Plant Pure Nation, I believe, was the film that was made. Nelson Campbell, and they did this. I think it was in some North Carolina town. I'm blanking on the name of it. But they took, people who eat this standard American diet, and they switched them, and they monitored their stuff, and they looked at all the results. And then after 1 week, even 2 weeks, or 1 or 2 weeks, they had very serious changes in their health. I don't know how scientific that process was. I don't know if they omitted certain stuff for the film. Who knows? But
I'm not saying that these changes aren't possible. And I'm not saying that, switching to a plant-based, especially a whole food plant-based diet, isn't going to make some drastic changes to your health, seemingly overnight, or at least in the first few months. I fully believe that, but I don't know. I just don't like how definitive this is saying it. I mean, because if I had heart problems or high blood pressure or something, and I switched to just start eating vegan, but was eating a lot of Impossible Foods and whatever, and 2 weeks in, I went and got my blood pressure checked, and it wasn't lower, it wasn't any better, I'd be like, screw this, this isn't working for me. They're lying. It's a site called The Beat. I'm going to switch to the beef.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. They do clarify at the beginning that they're talking about a plant-based diet, not a vegan diet. And they define the plant-based diet, focus on vegetables, fruit, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, leafy greens. So, they're saying you eat some healthy foods. You're right, though. I do think if you're going to give people the hope that this is the cure, maybe rooted in a little more science and qualify some things. I don't know. But again, look, if they're having typos and things like that, Mr. Jeffrey points out, maybe they're having, maybe they're struggling and it's hard to afford editors and stuff. Then we also can't afford to have everything scientifically checked. At some point, you got to just get published and send it out.
Maybe I didn't sleep enough last night.
It might be. Maybe we should vote on or guess how much Doug has slept.
No, but I do. I mean, this is the timeline is pretty cool to be able to think about how your body transforms on a healthy diet. Because I think that's a good way for people to help understand like what's happening if they're not feeling specific benefits. So I do quite like that. Yeah,
overall I like the article. I'm giving it a thumbs up. I still like it. All right, we are moving on. This is the one we hyped up yesterday. It's from The Guardian. The headline is "Love Cheese and Hate Tofu: 14 Vegan Obstacles and How to Push Past Them." We don't have a ton of time, but we'll hit each one really quickly and just talk about their what they said. So it's the premise is Veganuary. You're a couple of weeks in. You're not sure if this is for you because you're starting to bump into some of these issues or have these objections crop up in your mind. And they address each of them here, and they do it in a very good fashion. I was looking for a better word than good, but that's what I got. Good. Number one, I can't live without cheese, bacon, butter, or steak. And the answer here is twofold, really. The substitutes are pretty good, right? Not all these things. You're not going to get gourmet steak that is 100% vegan. But when it comes to something like chicken nuggets, you can get a pretty close substitute. So if many of these cravings you can solve with a substitute. It's not maybe the best long-term way to do it, but it works. The other thing is they say after a few months of experimentation, your thing may become less important than you thought. And you may say, I'm going to have this thing 4 times a year because I can't imagine having my life without it. And I think that's okay. I know some vegans won't like that. They'll say, well, you're not vegan then. And I would say, who cares? I don't, you don't need a label. You can just do this thing when you need to, and you're still having a tremendous impact on your health and on animals and on everything else. So that's your solution. And this is what I tell people when they say, I don't know, what do you do about Thanksgiving? And I don't mind. Of course, I tell them what I do, which is be vegan. But like my answer, if they're phrasing it differently, I would say, if you're worried about Thanksgiving, just don't be vegan that day. Like it's okay. It doesn't need to affect the whole rest of your year because you can't be vegan one day. Just make that day your non-vegan day, and then do it the rest. So that's not a valid reason. Number 2, I don't want to bother with supplements. What do you think about that one, Doug?
I mean, look, I think that all diets will benefit from supplementing to some degree because no diet is perfect. And nowadays it is super easy, obviously, with Complement, everything in one place. You're all in one solution. No, look, it's easy to supplement, to take a multivitamin. A lot of people do that anyway, no matter what they're eating. It's not like you have to worry too much about getting a bunch of different vitamins from a bunch of different places. But if you're eating a well-balanced diet, taking a daily multivitamin that focuses on the things that you need, on a plant-based diet, then you're good to go. So I think that's not a great excuse.
Not a good excuse, right? I mean, bother with like you bother to cook all your food and meals and shop and meal plan. Like you're not gonna bother to take one pill. Like I just don't. I'm not buying that. You do. It's not a bother thing. Now, if you're philosophically opposed to supplements, that's fine. Different argument to be had there. I still don't buy it. But that would be different than I just don't want to bother. All right, I exercise a lot, which is
this is a valid one.
Yeah, it has
exercise a lot.
That you cannot be vegan and do any sort of exercise. Definitely, if you're doing veganuary, take it easy.
Your body,
just try to stay at home.
It's too frail.
Yes, right.
You'll break.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I would flip this around. This is your reason to go vegan. You exercise a lot, so you start eating a plant-based diet. You'll do better. May not be true in all cases. I'm not going to make that statement, of course. But many people find that they do actually do better with the plant-based diet, largely because they recover faster. There's some science around that. I'm not going to make a blanket statement that it's 100% always true, but this is just not a reason not to be vegan. Read The Plant-Based Athlete. Great book written by people. Really good book.
Matt Fraser and Robert Sheep. How about this one? I'm pregnant or breastfeeding? Is that a reason not to go?
This is the one on this list that I always, when someone says this, I just don't know what to say. I don't want to go down that road. I'm just not an expert enough to I just haven't thought about it enough. Lots of people make it work. My wife made it work. She was vegetarian for our first. Yeah, lots of people make it work. So I don't know. I guess. Well, I think Katie's been vegetarian. Usually, Doug. Aaron was vegetarian for Holden when he was born, and she was vegan when Ellery was born. So yeah, absolutely. There's lots and lots of books on it. I actually, I don't know what the recommendations are. Here she says, or Tomlinson, whoever they're talking to, says, eat at least 2 portions of calcium-rich foods every day, such as 2 glasses of fortified plant milk. Make sure you're getting foods with plenty of iron, like lentils, beans, raisins, fortified breakfast cereal. So we're saying fortified here, which is supplementing. It's just supplementing that's built into your food. You can optimize absorption by combining iron sources with vitamin C. Make sure you're getting B12, D, iodine, and selenium. If only those came all in one pill, it'd be perfect. They do. Compliment. What else to say here? If you're breastfeeding, there are extra considerations, more protein, more zinc. Anyway, the people do it though. I don't know. Anything else there to add, Doug?
No. I mean, you should work with your doctor or your registered dietitian or whatever to make sure you're getting what you need. But people do it.
And MCHLL says, I grew a person as a vegan. So there you go. Another example.
There you go. Good. All right. How about this one? I don't have enough time to cook elaborate meals. Is that a good excuse?
Yeah, I mean, what'd you say? Is it good?
Is that a good excuse?
No, not a good excuse, because just like on a regular diet, a non-vegan diet, you can spend a lot of time cooking elaborate meals, and you can also instead cook really simple meals. So it depends how you want to do it. They talk about Jenna Hamshaw here, who's a friend of No Meat Athlete and dietitian Cookbook Author. She has a new book that is people are liking. It's all about plant-based meal planning. I don't have the name in front of me, but check out Jenna, Gena. Let's see. What does she say here? She says midweek dinner for her might be pasta with a jar of sauce and some frozen vegan meatballs. I had that just the other day. Actually, no, it was a beanball sub. Homemade beanballs. I did not violate my January no vegan meat challenge. I mentioned my vegan pizza last night. Jenna, if she's really busy, she might have a frozen vegan meal. So yes, you can eat those too. And this is the same as with regular diets. Like I said, there's simple, quick, out of the freezer foods, and there's food that you cook from scratch. It might be easier to make a non-freezer, super simple, healthy meal vegan than it is to make one from meats, right? Like you can throw some canned beans, rice or pasta, and some kind of greens, and you've got a pretty great meal there. I don't know a meal that's that easy to make from meats, right? I mean, I guess you could cook up a chicken breast or something, but that's more work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Beans are easier than chicken, that's for sure. And as Mr. Jeffrey points out, if you don't have time, just head over to 7-Eleven. They got you covered.
Yeah, right. Whole Health Experience says check out Yeah,
Yep.
cheap, lazy vegan. Or good size. All right, moving faster here. I don't like tofu / mushroom / aubergine. Aubergine is eggplant, by the way. I think most people know that, but not everybody. Yeah, I mean, this is silly. So you don't have to eat those foods. First of all, who makes eggplant like part of the diet? Is that just because it's in some like Italian dishes? I mean, I have no idea. But tofu and mushrooms, yeah, I mean, you don't have to eat those. When people say I don't like beans, I do have trouble telling them what to do. Like that's a really hard one for me. Yeah. We eat that all the time, and I don't know how to make a filling, seems like nutritionally complete meal without that. Obviously,
what if you're just eating beans incorrectly, or not?
Yeah, not very possible.
But just like not being, if you just don't like red kidney beans on top of your salad from a salad bar at Pizza Hut, then yeah, you're probably not going to like that. But
right.
But you can put them in all kinds of sauces. You can have them crispy. You can have them soft. I mean, there's so many different ways to eat beans that I just feel like you're probably just making a blanket statement about something you haven't really explored enough.
Yeah, that is a very good point. I don't remember who it was, but I read some food expert, maybe just a chef, I don't know, saying just sort of limiting the fact that like in this country, the way we eat beans is the way you are saying that. Like we just take canned beans and we just put them on something and we assume that that's what beans are. But in other cultures, they've have this very rich culinary history around beans. So they have all these different ways of preparing them that are delicious. We just don't do any of them here because we just don't think about that. So yeah, beans they can be great. I get some people just have like a textural issue or something. My son is that way. He just does not like whole beans. But you can always blend them up or mash them up or all the different things you can do. Kind of to your point, if you're just eating them right out of the can, they're maybe not that good. But if you do some different stuff, they can be good. All right, here's one that matters to both of us. My children are fussy eaters. This is a hard one. If I have never had to convert children from omnivorous to vegetarian or vegan because they were both born that way. Like I said, my son was vegetarian at first and then went vegan later. Daughter, always vegan. Yeah, when people talk about having a 10-year-old and they suddenly are going to like start switching, especially the ones who just like only eat chicken tenders. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do. I mean, I guess you can replace it with the plant-based version, but you can imagine a kid just rejecting that and saying it's not the same, so I'm not going to do it. They give some different advice here. They say try to do it in small amounts. This is still Jenna Hamshaw giving advice. Little bits here and there, and that probably is the best answer. Work in little bits here and there rather than just trying to switch them suddenly over. I do think the kids can be trained fairly easily, their palates anyway. So I like that advice.
Yeah, that's probably the only advice I would have to give to, because we haven't had to deal with that. But I mean, I guess my kids aren't probably any less picky than any other standard kid. They're just picky about plant foods and not meat foods, if that makes sense. So just get them to like a few plant foods and go from there. Yep.
And there's the old get them involved in gardening trick. I know it's a Doug Hay favorite, and it's been successful for us as well. Maybe impractical if you're just trying to switch to this diet and you're not going to go start a garden, but it works. All right, it will be too expensive. Yeah, we've debunked that one many times. Beans way cheaper than meat. Cheese also expensive. Just if you're not buying the vegan packaged foods, then you're not gonna. It's not gonna be that expensive. But if you do try to buy all those things and you buy everything organic and everything the healthiest possible version, yes, it will be more expensive. But you don't have to do that. It's not like that's the choice. You switch from omnivorous to ultra healthy, expensive vegan with prepackaged food. You can just switch to beans and grains and cheap things that are way cheaper.
Yep.
All right. I don't want to read labels all the time. I guess when you're new, you have to. Nowadays, there's the vegan. I forget the name of the brand, but they just redid their logo, the V mark or something. I don't know, where they put the vegan thing on the front of it. So you can always look for that. The big thing for me is like when you're switching, especially if it's for health, but I guess it could be for other reasons than health. But like if you're just making the switch in the beginning, who cares about something 20 items down the ingredient list? I mean, obviously you want to have things with few items on the ingredient list to begin with, but like if it happens that gelatin made it into your food and you missed it because you didn't want to read the whole ingredient label, who cares? Like, I mean, yes, if you have a philosophical, ideological thing like we do, where it's like, I'm just not going to eat that, it's just part of my identity, that's one thing. But if it's just like you're just fooling around with this, don't worry about that. Just don't eat meat and cheese and eggs, and you'll probably be avoiding most everything.
Yeah.
All right, this is the most valid one in my eyes. I'm a foodie and I love eating out. I know people will insist that vegan food at restaurants is like just as good, and I'm not saying it's not at the right one, but your variety, collapses the amount of choices you have. If you're like a foodie and like it's just your thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like
if you go from a full menu to like 2 or 3 items.
Right.
And
right.
Oftentimes they're the same.
And oftentimes no choice. Like if you're really into food and you just like, I don't know, go to some world famous seafood restaurant, like you may have no good option at that restaurant or nothing that's going to seem like this is capturing the spirit of this restaurant for me. Right. So, it's kind of, to me, it's almost an either or. I'm sure people will disagree with this, but like you can either be vegan, and I'm talking about 100% vegan here where you make no exceptions. You can either be that or you can be a foodie who loves going out and your whole life and identity is around, your nights out and the restaurants you've gone to and the tasting menus you've done and all that. Like you're going to it'll be I don't know. I think you're going to lose a lot of what you love about that. Now, if you redirect that into like really loving the vegan foods and what you can do with plants and that starts to become in itself, in its own way, interesting to you, then, you could it can change it. So anyway, that's what I think. I don't know. Yeah. It's been my experience. It's just not the same.
I don't know if I'd go as far as to say it's either or, because I think you can become a vegan foodie, right? And like just get really good at knowing and seeking out the vegan restaurants or the places that have different vegan options, that are unique and good. But it is definitely, I mean, I'm not going to argue that it's not limiting. I mean, it's certainly way more limiting. Nowadays it's not all that difficult to find vegan food, but at a restaurant, but it is certainly going to limit your options. And so, as you said, like if you're seeking out the like fanciest, most wonderful restaurants, and checking boxes to do that, if that's your thing, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to do that on a vegan diet.
Right. As predicted, I'm getting some pushback here. Aisha says that's not valid. There are some really great vegan restaurants that are amazing. And I agree with that. There are great vegan restaurants that are amazing. But for example, like when I lived in Asheville, we only had plant. And I would go there all the time because it was amazing and I loved it. And it was just as good as any other, foodie restaurant meal could be for me. It was great. I loved it. But they had 4 or 5 entrees. And by the time I'd been there for 2 months, I'd had them all. And yeah, I mean, you could have it again. But I'm saying if you're someone who's all into like, checking the boxes, trying to stuff all the time, you can't keep doing that. It's just, you will run out of vegan restaurants. Hopefully that'll change and we get a lot more of them. Mr. Jeffrey is citing 11 Madison Park, which is, I'd love to go there. And I'd love to have that kind of food experience. The point is they're limited.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Wow, this is a long show today.
We got to speed this up here.
Okay. I want to wear my leather shoes and woolly jumpers. I don't know what woolly jumpers are. I have no idea. But leather shoes, I know what they are. And I don't know. When I did this, I didn't throw away that kind of stuff until it wore out. I just let it. I just kept wearing my leather shoes until they were done. And then when I went, to the store again, I didn't get leather shoes. So that's how I've done it. I mean, I don't know, or separate the eating part. Say I'm going to be plant-based food for now, and then later I'll consider the rest. Anything else, Doug, on that one?
No, just, I still have some of my old leather shoes that I wear, and I just haven't been buying new ones. We skipped one. My partner would leave me.
Sorry about that. Yeah, again, either or. You get to be vegan or you get to have that same partner who would leave you.
Yeah. If your partner is going to leave you because of your diet choices, then that concerns me about your choice in partner.
And that is my first response too. I'm sure there are people who have very real conflicts here where the partner is also, the food is very important to them and their identity, and it's just how they grew up. Whatever. Communication, right? We have to communicate, say what's important to you. I don't know. So not saying that's not a hurdle, but there are ways around it. It will make travel too hard. That's not true. It's pretty easy to travel now as a vegan. Certainly there are places in the world probably that's, hard to go. This one to me falls under it makes being a foodie kind of impossible, right? You can, that's super hard for me. One of the times when I had the most trouble being vegan, I don't know, trouble's not the right word. When I would say, yes, this is sort of a challenge, or like this is emotionally taxing, is when I'm traveling and it's very unique foods to a certain place. And I was just curious. I want to just absorb that culture, but you can't. You just choose not to. So that's a sacrifice that you make. So that's a valid concern, but it's not at all impossible. You just eat different stuff.
Yep.
And finally, humans evolved to eat meat. Their answer here is the same as I would say. Like it's part of it. We also evolved to eat a lot of vegetables, and it turns out we evolved to thrive in a variety of climates and food situations where you may not have meat for a very long time. Maybe you may not have vegetables for a very long time. We can adapt, and our body's robust in that sense. So yeah, I just don't buy it. And again, the evolutionary thing, I don't buy it. Like, let's look at health outcomes nowadays. If you eat these certain diets, what happens? How long do you live, and how healthy are you? And I care about that much more than I do about some story about how we're meant to eat. It's just irrelevant to me. Plus, evolution is talking about getting to reproductive age, not about getting to be 100 and not have all these other things that kill us when we get that age.
Yeah.
So there you are.
That's that.
That was the longest.
There's officially no excuse. There's officially no excuse not to go vegan. I guess unless you're a foodie, according to Matt. Yeah,
that's the only one. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I stand by that. It's a choice. You gotta. If you're a foodie, it's fine. And I'm not saying that's an excuse not to be vegan, because you probably still should be vegan. There's a lot of good reasons to do that, and it just might be worth giving up your foodie identity.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's our show. That was a long one. I did not intend or plan for this show to be long. I thought it would just be a quick one, but I guess the Mr. Jeffrey bit at the beginning added some time, and that was a long article. So that's what you get.
All right. So real quick, how was your sleep? Lock in your numbers here. I'm gonna say you slept pretty well last night. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. All right. Okay. We're not doing halves. I'm gonna do a 7 out of 10. Round down there.
Is anybody still with us, Doug? Is anyone still paying attention?
I don't know. Yeah, this has been a really long one. So
I'll be surprised if we get one. All right, I'm just gonna give it 9 out of 10.
9? Oh, come on. Matt.
I know.
Whoa.
Sherry says 6. MTHLL says 9. Wow. Maybe they heard me. Jeff says 7. These are coming in 30 seconds after I revealed it. So I don't know if they didn't hear it or if it's delayed or what. 9, 8, 7. Yeah, I think I got a 9-point sleep. I had minimal wake up. I just went right back to sleep. Somehow I don't feel like all that great about it. It's not like I woke up and was like, this is amazing. But I just don't think I woke up. So pretty good. Aisha says 8. That was spunky today. A lot of 8s coming in. Maybe I need to lower my recalibrate so that this is an 8.
Yeah. Do you know what a 9 out of 10 sleep is? I mean,
maybe not. Yeah, maybe I've just never felt it before.
Well, that's good, man. I'm really happy for you. There's been some high numbers the last couple of days, so maybe we're making a turn for the better here.
Maybe. Jeff says we should have known when I said I ate romaine. Yeah, I did kind of hint at that earlier, that I had an extra romaine salad. So I'll be doing that again. We'll see if I can keep this going. Because I don't know if the shows are better, but they're longer, at least when I sleep well. So you get that going. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, for hanging with us during this hour and 10-minute show. I don't want them to be this long. They should not be this long. So we will try to make them shorter. But whatever. It happened. All right. So that's it. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday already. I'm excited about that. So should be a good one.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.